Hello everyone and welcome to class. My name is Kay, your English teacher for First Additional Language Grade 9. Thank you for joining me and happy Monday. Okay, before we start, last week Manga asked a very relevant question from our previous lesson. Is Manga here today? If he is, can he please type present on our chat box? But after the lesson that we had last week, he asked a very, very relevant question, okay? So last week we did some punctuation, but he still needed clarity on when do you know to use a full stop or a comma, okay? So he still needed clarity on how do you know you're supposed to use a full stop or a comma when you are writing your essays, okay? Or whatever it is that you're writing. So is there anyone who can assist us with answering this question? Is there anyone who knows? You can either raise your hand or type on our chat box if you have a response. On when do you know to use a full stop or a comma? Or does everyone know when to use them? Or are you guys also not clear on when to use a full stop or a comma? Okay, so nobody wants to give it a shot. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just type on our chat box if you're not sure. Okay, I hope Manga is here because this is especially for him, because I don't feel like he got clarity last week on when to use a comma or a full stop. Okay. So how do you know when a sentence is complete and that you can start a new one? So now this is my question to you guys. How do you know a sentence is complete? How do you know if a sentence is complete and that it is okay for you to start a new one? When you are writing, how do you know if your sentence is complete and that it is okay for you to start a new one? Guys, why are you so quiet today? Everybody is just so quiet today. Is it because it's Monday? Okay. So a sentence is complete only if there is a full stop placed after the word in the sentence, okay? To mark the end of the sentence, okay? So we know a sentence is complete only if there is a full stop. So if I didn't have a full stop here, my sentence would go on and on and on and on and on and on and on until I form like a paragraph, until you see a full stop. That's when you know that that sentence is complete. Okay, because as you can see here, I have a comma, meaning that I am still continuing. Okay, so we know that a sentence is complete when you see a full stop. Okay, so let's make an example. Okay, let me read this. It says coronavirus disease is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. Okay, do you see what I've just did there? I said coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. Okay, so I have a full stop there. Why do I have a full stop there? Why am I not continuing? Because there's still more to read. Why do I have a full stop there? Okay, I have a full stop there because my statement is complete, okay? I've introduced the topic, which is COVID-19. Now I want to start talking about the transmission, okay? So I can't just start talking about the transmission until I have ended the first sentence, which is about the cause of the coronavirus, okay? Right, so when you put a full stop, you are ending the point, the thought, the statement, or the idea, okay? So as you can see here, the statement or the idea is about the cause, coronavirus, the new disease, which is coronavirus. Now, I want to start talking about its transmission, okay? So I can't do that until I have ended my first point, okay? So now I can continue and say the virus that causes COVID-19 is mainly transmitted through droplets generated when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or exhales. Okay, so this is my second idea or second point from what I had mentioned about COVID-19. Okay, so a full stop, it ends a statement, an idea, or a thought in order for you to continue and mention other things that you want to say. Okay, let's move on. As I said, that the full stop marks the end of a sentence that is a complete thought, idea, or statement, okay? So once you put a full stop, whatever it is that you are saying, it is a complete thought or an idea or a statement. So it's complete. That's why you are ending it with a full stop. Okay, so I hope it's clear on when you can use a full stop. And then we move on to a comma. A comma is used for a number of things, like a whole lot of things, okay? But today we're just going to mention a few, okay? So we use a comma to join clauses, okay? Just like conjunctions. Remember we said with conjunctions, they are linking words, they are joining words, they join sentences, they join clauses. So in this case as well, a comma does that as well. For an example, while Kaylee and Kyle were arguing, comma, other kids were busy eating. Okay, so we have combined these two to make one sentence, okay? So while Kaylee and Kylie were arguing, comma, other kids were busy eating, okay? So we've just joined two clauses using a comma, okay? A comma can be used to separate additional information being provided about the subject, okay? An example would be Sam. Sam is the subject here. Sam, comma, who is my cousin, comma, is a brilliant writer. Okay, so you are talking about Sam. Sam also happens to be your cousin, and he is a brilliant writer, okay? So it wouldn't sound grammatically correct if you were to say, Sam, who is my cousin, is a brilliant writer. So since we've written the name Sam, you need to put a comma, who is my cousin, comma, is a brilliant writer. Okay. Here's another one. The comma is used to separate numbers, dates, and address, okay? So here we have used the comma to separate the dates, okay? India gained its independence on the 15th of August, comma, 1947. Okay, so you put a comma after the month. Here's another example, Rustenburg Road and 2nd Avenue, comma, Victor Park, comma, Johannesburg, comma, 2195, okay? So that is how you write your address. Okay, well, you don't write your address like this when you're writing a letter, but if you are going to be writing it within a sentence the way that I'm doing right now, you use comma, okay, to separate the name of the street, the place, as well as the city and the postal code. Okay. A comma can be used when you address a person. For instance, here, you say, no, Tandi, that is not right. Okay, so we put a comma after no, and then we said, Tandi, that is not right, okay? It's very similar to what we did with Sam, okay? remember, we said Sam, comma, who is my cousin, and then we had another comma. So whenever you address a person, we can use a comma there as well. And finally, we use a comma to mark quotations in a sentence. An example would be the teacher said, and then you have your comma, and then you start quoting. Okay, so normally when you see quotation marks, there's always a comma before you start quoting. Okay, so I'm hoping, guys, that this made sense for you, and now you are able to know when to use a comma or a full stop, okay? Right, let's move on to today's work. So today we are doing an exam structure for paper 2. Paper 2 is all about literature. Remember last week, the entire week, we were doing paper 1, which is about language. We did comprehension there. We spoke about summaries, and we did some language and editing skills, okay? So this week we are focusing on paper 2, and paper 2 is about literature, okay? So paper 1 said it's about language, and then paper 2, it's literature. Okay. I see that Princess is asking, yes, we can use a comma for when we're listing items as well. As I said that from my previous slides, I'm just mentioning a few things that maybe you guys didn't think of when it comes to using commas, okay? So I didn't mention everything there. There's still like a whole lot that you can do with a comma as compared to a full stop. Okay. So by the end of the lesson, you will know what is expected of you for paper 2 journal exams. You will know how is paper 2 structured. You will know how to prepare yourself, and you will know how you should respond to the questions. Okay, so before we start, I want to know, at school, what were you reading before the lockdown? Before the lockdown, what is it that you were reading? Were you guys doing short stories? Did you get short stories? Were you reading a novel or a drama? And if so, what is the name of the book or short stories that you guys were doing? What were you reading before? Okay, I see. Stelo says they read a novel that is called Animal Farm. Okay, let me just go back a bit. Okay, is there anyone else who did Animal Farm besides Stelo? And then Tsotsi, is Tsotsi a short story or a book? Okay, I see others. They read Harry Potter. Tanya read Harry Potter. Okay, guys, just to be clear, are these the books that you guys read together, as in like at school, not your own, not books that you read for your own personal gain or during your own time, but books that you were told to read at school? Okay, I see Nasipa saying yes, but what did you guys read, Nasipa? Were you guys reading short stories? Were you doing novels? Were you doing drama? And those who got short stories, how many short stories did you get? Okay, I see that a number of you guys read novels, and then others, they read short stories. Okay, you were given 6 short stories. Okay, so no one read a drama, so it was just short stories and a novel. Okay. Okay, you guys are about to find out just now why I was asking. Okay, so literature paper 2, okay, consists of 4 sections, but you only answer 2, okay? So literature paper 2 consists of 4 sections, but you only have to answer 2 sections, okay? It is very important to read the instructions carefully to avoid reading and answering the entire question paper. So when it comes to literature paper 2, as much as it consists of 4 sections, you are only required to answer 2, okay? So it is very important that you listen and you read carefully when it comes to the instructions, okay? So that you don't read and answer the entire question paper, because in that way you will lose out on marks, and you won't get enough time to finish because you'll be answering the entire paper, yet you are only required to do 2 sections, okay? Right, so you answer the questions set on the text you have studied, okay? So those who have studied short stories, they'll answer the section of short stories. Those who studied a novel, they will answer section A and something else, okay? Remember, you have to answer 2 questions, and you must pick from any sections that are given to you. So you have section A, B, C, and D, okay? Let me just read your messages quickly. Oh, okay. So these are the questions from last year, okay? 2019 June exam. These are the questions from last year. So for section A, there was these 2 novels, which is Cry, the Beloved Country, as well as The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay, so these were the books from last year in terms of the novels. And then for drama, those are the books that were there last year for drama. And then for short stories, those are the 2 short stories that were there last year. And for poetry, those are the 2 poems that came out, okay? Right, so the entire paper is out of 70 marks. The entire paper is out of 70 marks. Hence, you need to answer 2 sections, okay? Remember, you answer 2 sections, okay? So remember, you answer 1 question from each section. To be specific, that is section A and B. In total, you will answer 2 questions from the exam paper. So from the entire exam paper, you will answer 2 questions, okay? Now, for section C and D, I want you guys to look at the mark allocation. Section C and D. Okay, you can see here, section A, you have 35, 35, so meaning that you have to pick 1, okay? So if you did Cry, the Beloved Country, and that's the novel that you're comfortable with, that's the one you'll pick, okay? For drama as well, the mark, it's 35, the entire thing. So you'll choose whether you want to do Macbeth or you want to do My Children, My Africa. So you pick 1 from these 2 sections, okay? But when it comes to section C and D, you can see that the first question for section C is out of 18 marks, okay? And then the second question for section C is out of 17 marks, meaning that you have to answer the whole thing, okay? You have to answer both extracts, okay? And these extracts, they come from different short stories, meaning that you have to be comfortable with both short stories. You need to be able to answer both short stories, okay? Same thing with poetry. If you are going to be answering section D, okay, you can see that the first question for section D, it's out of 18 marks. The second question, it's out of 17 marks. So you need to answer the whole thing to make up that 35 marks. Okay, you need to answer the whole thing to make up 35 marks. Okay, I hope we are clear on that. So it's very important that before you start answering your question paper, you first read out the instructions and you understand them. You don't want to answer 2 novels, okay, because you're only going to be marked for one. Remember, for the entire question paper, you need to answer 2 questions, okay? And each question has to have 35 marks, okay? So for section C and D, you will answer everything because in order to get 35, you have to answer 5.1 as well as 5.2. Same thing for section D. In order to get 35 marks, you need to answer 6.1 and 6.2, guys. Okay, so the paper is 2 hours long. Let me just show you guys quickly. Okay, there it is. Are you guys able to see it? Can you see it? Please let me know in our chat box if you can see the question paper. Okay, awesome. Before I continue, so from the novels and the short stories that are in this question paper, have you guys done any of them this year? The novels that are there, as well as the short stories, do you guys recognize any of them? Did you do them this year? Carlton is saying yes. So which one, Carlton? Which one have you done? So Carlton would be the only one who would be on the safe side if you guys were to write the same question paper as the one from last year. Okay, so here's your table of contents. Okay, definitely when you write exams, your teachers will go through the instructions and the question paper with you before you can start writing, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. You don't get to make mistakes, okay? And there's the checklist for you when you're finished writing. So you will tick the sections that you have answered. Okay. And there's section A. There's section A. Okay, so the other thing that happens, hey, with you answering a novel or a drama, you need to read the entire book because you will get an extract. They won't tell you which extract you are going to get. So an extract will be picked from any page from the book that you read, and you need to be able to provide answers for that extract. Okay, so it's very important that you read and understand the book or the drama that you will be doing. Okay, same thing as with the short stories as well. You are going to get an extract. As you can see, okay, this is still section A, okay? So all of the questions that you guys are seeing, they are for section A, the novel, and then this is section B for drama. But I see that from you guys, no one has done anything on drama. Okay, I just want to show you section C quickly. Okay, well, in section D, so we might as well. Okay, so for section D, You get to answer everything, remember? And the questions will be on poems that you have done, okay? The section will be on poems that you have done. So that is section D for you. Okay, let's just go up a bit for section C. Okay. There's section C for the short stories. So if you were to pick this section, they'll give you an extract from the short story that you had read in class. Okay, as you can see there. And then you'll get questions regarding that extract. The and that you see, do you see the word and? And it's in bold. It's to remind you that for section C, you have to answer everything. So once you are done with the first short story, you are going to answer the second short story. Okay. And then that will be the end of section C. Same thing with poetry as well. You'll get the 2 poems and you'll get the questions from the 2 poems, okay? Only section A and B, you'll pick one thing. Because each question there, it's out of 35 marks. Remember, I said to you the entire paper, just want to see if I can show you guys. The entire paper is out of 70 marks, okay? So 35 plus 35 will give you 70 marks. Hence, you have to answer 2 questions from the entire exam paper, okay? So this week, just, okay, we already saw the checklist from the question paper. So this week, what we are going to do, we are going to be focusing on analyzing literature, okay? So I went through the question paper and I saw a couple of questions there for both I saw a couple of questions for the novel as well as the drama and the short stories and poetry, okay? So from all of these things that I've just mentioned, all of them, they require you to know the tone of voice. So you need to respond to questions that ask you about the tone of voice. All of them, they will ask you about the mood as well as the theme, okay? So what we are going to do this week, I'm going to show you guys how you can interpret the tone of voice and how you can respond to questions that talk about the tone of voice, okay? Remember, the tone of voice is different from when we ask you for the tone of the story, okay? So the tone of voice, we are talking about the characters, okay? But we'll get into details as the week progresses in terms of the tone of voice, the mood, as well as the theme, okay? So you can't run away from these things. Whether you choose to answer section A and B or section C and D, you will come across questions that ask you about the tone of voice, the mood, as well as the theme, okay? So even poems as well, they ask you about the tone, the mood, and the theme, okay? So this week we will do that. We will unpack the tone of voice, the mood, and the theme, and then we will answer some of the questions from the question paper that ask you about these things, okay? So yeah, and other things that you might need clarity on. So this week we'll be focusing on analyzing literature, okay, like how you can respond to the questions that ask you about the mood, the tone, and other things, okay? The other thing that's very common from all 3 sections, it is the figures of speech. So you come across the figures of speech when you are answering the novel, you'll come across the figures of speech when you are answering the poem, and you'll come across the figures of speech when you are answering the short stories. So you can't run away from them, okay? So you need to know what they are, and you need to know how they have been used, okay? Because some of the questions there, they will ask you how has the metaphor or the personification has been used in this line or sentence. You need to be able to respond to that, okay? So tomorrow we will start unpacking those things. If you have any questions for me regarding analyzing literature, make sure that you bring them tomorrow so that we can discuss them this week and everybody can be on the same page, okay? Let me just read your messages quickly. What are you guys talking about? Is there anyone who has a question for me? I think my host Eugene might be able to answer the question regarding the link. But Nosipa, I'm not the one who's in charge of the link, okay? Right. I am from Johannesburg. I don't know why you are asking. But yeah, guys, that's what we are going to be doing for this week. Make sure that you join us for the entire week to make sure that you are clear. And as I said, if you want the question paper as well as the memo, I upload everything on our website, or you can email me if you really, really need me. Okay. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. I will see you guys tomorrow for our next lesson.